How does it work with the family? What happens if you do disagree?
But I must say that we never in my tenure, we never had to vote, to go to a vote, because there was a strong disagreement. But in case that happened, surely the independent will play an important role. But so far, so good.
So far, so good. You have had your setbacks, though. For example, when you went into India, you said you went in maybe a little bit too early. You weren't ready yet.
Yeah, I mean, not only India. I mean, we have
in other countries.
No,
too.
the tricky thing with emerging market. You remember that about there was an economist. I can't remember. Nielsen was the name of the economist, the Goldman Sachs, that created this, this word called the BRICS.
Yes, of course.
And I would say that probably out of 5 BRICS, only 2 made it. And so we went really very strong on the BRIC, and I think that some of the BRICS didn't work out, and Brazil is in a miserable situation. Yeah. India, they don't care. Great individual. Great tradition, great people, but they don't care about luxury. I don't think that we can talk about the luxury. There are many Indians, many affluent Indians living in London and traveling between India and London, but they buy in London.
They don't buy it.
They don't buy there. So there is no infrastructure, very few luxury places where you can sell, your goods. Not easy to find employees that really get close to luxury. So anyhow, these are some of the experience. So if you have asked me, did you do some mistakes? Yeah, surely in the BRICS, we got 2 out of 5, which luckily are the 2 most important. But in some of the other, I think we went too deep. And we created a brand, and so it's good when those folks travel the world and remember our brand. We go back to what we said before, but if I had to start all over again, probably I would have gone lighter in some of those. Or take even Turkey. Turkey, it's like for Europe, has been like the Spain of the year 80s. Then all of a sudden, all this turmoil dramatically slow down the market. And if you are too big there, what do? You have to consolidate. So I think that the job of an entrepreneur, but it's not only in our business, is becoming more and more articulated, because you have to deal more and more with complexity, with forces outside your control. And I think the challenge is to have a team of people that can react and are accountable on how they react for the good and the bad. Yeah. And I think that, to be honest with you, this year probably is the year in which of this struggle, because it's an endless situation. I mean, this tragedy in Paris, I mean, is very, very sad for all of us, but, I think that it's going to have repercussion for months to come in many aspects beside our grief. And so these are, unfortunately, what you have to deal with, and just remain cool and just act, for the good of the company and for the brand.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what do you do in situations like that? How do you overcome those setbacks, and what advice do you give?
What advice? First of all, I think that you have to be close to your people. Your people, they have to feel not lonely. They have to feel a part of your company, and just try to re-energize them. I liked, we have a very good Prime Minister, Mr. Renzi, that has become, really an iconic personality in Italy, because he has an incredible energy. He's young, and he's very good to talk to young people. And so the first thing he said, don't be afraid of this terrorist attack, Go out, go back to your normal life. I mean, because those guys, beside killing, they want to install terror
and fear
into your homes. Yeah. Don't make that happen. And this is them right. So, I mean, we try within our own little house to talk the same language. And I remember 9/11 in New York was dreadful. I mean, and that was a similar situation, and and totally confused, lost, and just be close to them, and this teamwork and this warmth, belonging to your brand or to your company, I think is very important, and this is part of the unity I was talking about. I don't think it's not only a unity of the family, of the shareholder. I think unity of the people working with you and around you, and operating in one other country, it's make them feel at home all over the world. It's not easy. So it's and you have to be there. They have to see you. I mean, I don't believe video conference, Skype, fine, but it's cold. It's far away. They have to go and see you. They want to shake your hands. You have to tap on their shoulder, and smile. That's what I don't do enough, but smile.
You've been smiling a lot tonight, Gildo. I think everyone would agree. But how do you, I mean, it's business. We talk about the horrific events that's just happened in Paris, and, is it business as usual, Gildo?
No, it's not. How can it be, I mean, ask yourself, each of us is a consumer. The first reaction is stay home. And, I mean, our home, I exercise what I call a cocoon effect. And so, you just want to, it's like being feeling protection in a Agnona cashmere blanket, you just to, even if it's regardless of the temperature, if it's warm outside, and I think this is the cocoon effect that one, and just, just regain the energy, move, and just do it. It's not easy, but it will take time, and
you've talked about 2015 being a very challenging year. Looking ahead to 2016, Gildo, you're cutting capital.
I'm more positive.
More positive?
You have to be.
Cutting capital expenditure, or what is your plan?
You just said it. No, first of all, I think that what I accomplished this year is lower the break-even point. So regardless how it goes, 16 will be a better year than 15, that's for sure. Because I was caught by surprise. I planned 15 too high in revenue, but not in cost. And so you got trapped, And so I think this is, use a more balanced approach is important. Yeah, I think we have been quite generous in CapEx, and so we can afford a couple of years lower CapEx. I'm not cutting marketing cost. I think it would be foolish because you still have to invest on the brand. I will not cut R&D, very important. I would not cut omnichannel because it's a new project. I would not cut travel retail. So all new project, our small, if you venture capital, new project, I will not cut. But wherever you invested in the past, you can just keep going, and surely I will have to make some changes in the organization. The thing is that it's one thing is to sail in a lake, and one thing is to sail in the ocean. And when it gets rough on a sail, you can make it. Also, you can go back by swimming, but in the ocean, you just go under. And so I think that not often executives, they are very good in good times, can be good in difficult times. And so I think that you have to see who is good and is not good at that, and if the time remains challenges, I think you have to make some changes. So, and just bring young people in.
Yes.
I think the power of the young is, they are, I am a baby boomer. They are millennial. So I think we need more millennial on board. And that's the way to do it. And just give them, the resources to make mistake, not many. And if they make mistake, support them to correct the course of the action. But this is and I have to, I'm getting better in that. But that's, I mean, for you, it's new learning. And this is what the challenging times oblige you to do. Because people don't like change. In particular, in good days. But when the storm comes, unless you change, boom, you drown. So that's, and that's why I think that good companies come out of tough times better. I remember in 2008, it was the toughest year that I remember in my career. I've been around now 30 years and probably more than 32. I mean, in Zegna, of which I would say I've been running the company for the past, around 15 or 20. And I remember that in 2008, I mean, everything, was going wrong. And so I said to myself, I have to give myself one goal. If I give myself 10, I'm going to confuse everybody, and people will not know where they're going or what they're doing. So I said, number one priority, preserve cash. One. And I told that to, not to the 7,000, but to the 70 executives that count. And I was very proud because I said, I don't care what happened to revenue. I don't care what happened to profit. Of course I care, but that's the language I used. I care about cash. Guys, protect our cash, not my cash, our cash. We came out of that crisis with a cash that went up 50%, 50. And I said, this is our trophy. It's not my trophy. So in going through a challenging 2015, I'm not using that hard language, but I said, remember, guys, in 2008, many of you were still around. So in order to make sure that it doesn't get that bad, let's think what we did in those days. And so the language I use this time is cost down. And so this has been, and some, like it, some don't. But at the end, he said, this is what you have to do. And so that's why, that's the only reason where I'm more positive for next year.
I hope so, Gildo. I hope so.
Regardless how it goes,
you'll be positive.
I'm more equipped than I've been this year. And this is, you have to take a positive attitude.